We're starting off tonight with a story about salmon and Native Americans. We're focusing on a move by the federal government to keep part of a promise it made more than 170 years ago. And that is our big story tonight. Back in 2023, President Biden held something called the White House Tribal Nations Summit. As part of that, he signed an executive order which led to a grant of $240 million to help 27 different Northwest tribes modernize their fish hatcheries. The Cascade Fish Hatchery in the Columbia Gorge is one in our area that will benefit. Columbia Basin hatcheries like this pump out a total of roughly 600,000 salmon a year into the Columbia River. The salmon are important to tribes culturally and ecologically. Corrine Sams is the Fish and Wildlife Chair for the Umatilla Indian Reservation and the past chair of the Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission. She said Oregon hatcheries will get a total of about $34 million.
It's completely overdue. You know, we have a backlog of infrastructure needs within the basin, specifically in the hatcheries. The Eagle Creek Hatchery facility located close to Cascade Locks has a lot of degrading equipment. It's difficult to hold a coho salmon there because of the dilapidated facilities. So this is long overdue, but we remain optimistic. We need these hatcheries to function at full capacity.
Now, Oregon is not the only place getting that hatchery money. It's pouring into Washington state as well. Erica Zucco from our affiliate in Seattle picks up that part of the story.
This hatchery in Tulalip raises and releases more than 11 million baby fish each year, a lifeline in Tulalip Bay where many wild salmon runs are depressed or endangered. But the infrastructure is outdated.
50 years plus of not having maintenance, 50 years of technology and increases in science have meant that these structures have fallen behind.
Tribes across the Northwest, from Tulalip to Muckleshoot and beyond, operate hatcheries like this one, working with partners to make improvements when possible. But a large influx of cash discussed Thursday will speed up the process for some.
This is a much needed injection into the infrastructure that supports all of these hatcheries, which not only supports the tribal fisheries, but supports all of the non-tribal fisheries, up and down the West Coast.
$240 million in Inflation Reduction Act money will go directly to tribes to modernize equipment. Now the process begins to determine which projects with which tribes. Tulalip hopes to use some of that funding to adjust to what they've learned from their work and advanced science.
We're in need of upgrade to be able to better facilitate releases and brood stocking at the same time, multiple releases for multiple species here on site, because we're finding that timing is key to our releases, and so having any delay because of fish health issues or growth, we need to be able to release fish that are in the adjacent ponds.
Legally, tribes have a right to half the catch, and governments have a responsibility to ensure there are fish to harvest.
These hatcheries is part of our treaty trust obligation to the tribes in ensuring that they have fish for their fisheries as well as for their subsistence and ceremonial purposes.
For Environment Northwest, I'm Erica Zucco.
Thanks, Erica.